All right, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Extra Cycle. And today we're going to be discussing the 2022 NFL playoffs. We're going to give our first round predictions as the playoffs start on Saturday. And then we're also just going to talk about how we think the remainder of the playoffs will go. So make sure you have your bracket up and look at the matchups. And I just guess we'll get talking with the first game that we have on the bracket, which is going to be the Chiefs and Steelers game. So, Jacob, who you got? What do you think about this game?
As a Steelers fan, I have the Chiefs winning. I think Big Ben made a pretty, fair comment regarding the game. I don't think that the Steelers are fit. They're not favored. They're definitely not the better roster. They don't have the talent or the veteran experience to win this game. But if they come out loose and maybe get an early lead and then force some turnovers, who knows? Maybe the Steelers can get that win. But I doubt that the Steelers will win this game. So good send off for Ben, but it's probably going to be a loss.
Yeah, I mean, for the TikTok Bowl, I also have the Chiefs winning. Like, in my opinion, the Steelers have no right to be in this playoff. I wanted the Chargers in that spot, but I mean, I wish they tied, honestly. But I
Why?
mean, I wish the Chargers and Raiders tied, so both the Steelers wouldn't go. Because I'd rather see Justin Herbert play in the playoffs than Big Ben throw like a 2 yard shovel pass to the ground or something.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that I'm a Steelers fan or no?
No, it's just watching the Steelers play hurts. They're not good.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
Najee Harris, the two TikTok boys, and a dude who should be in hospice care right now.
Okay. Okay. How are your Eagles doing?
We're doing pretty well. I mean, what we made it. We got a playoff spot after everyone said we're gonna finish in the bottom of the NFC East at like four and what, like 13.
Well, what was your record against teams that had a positive record?
Okay, our record was bad against that, but if you look at it, we
Okay.
lost those games by 3 points when we were like horrendous. We did not know what we were doing. We nearly beat almost all those teams who were in the playoffs that we lost to.
Don't worry, we'll
Uh,
have plenty of time to get to the Eagles. As for this Chiefs Steelers game, um, yeah, I think the Chiefs are definitely the better team than the Steelers. But I do believe the Steelers will make it interesting. Big Ben said some words, and some people are saying he lost the locker room, and others. I mean, I think in general, I think those are good words to say to your team. I think if you catch one or two Chiefs players off guard because they're kind of taking the game a little light, then I mean, that Steelers defense only needs a little bit of room. They can really get after the quarterback. They do a lot of things well. So I think if the Steelers could get a quick score on a defense that isn't playing that hard, I think the Steelers could really take the game. I don't expect they're going to win, but I do expect the Steelers to fight hard. And for all these games, we're just going to be talking about what we think about the betting lines. It's something fun that I like to look at, and it's a little fun just to think about like if the team will cover or not. So for this game, the Chiefs are currently favored by 12 and a half points. If I was a betting man, I would take the Steelers plus 12 and a half. I think this game is going to be way closer than people think. I don't think the Chiefs are going to come out with their best football. I think they're going to come out to win the game and stay as healthy as possible because they're going to have a tough second round matchup no matter what. What do you guys think about the 12 and a half line?
I would definitely take the under. Although I do think the Steelers will lose, it is always difficult to beat a team twice, as we witnessed in the national championship game for whatever reason. But I do think that I would be smart to take the under because winning by 12 and a half points in the NFL is very difficult to do week in and week out. So I would take the under.
Yeah, I'm gonna pound the under on this. Like, I do know the underdog mentality and go again, teams getting caught off guard, but we've seen what the Chiefs can do in the playoffs. Like, we saw their comeback against Houston where they're down what 24 to like 8, something like that, and then they just came back and just like destroyed them. Like, I see the Chiefs just annihilating the Steelers. And if it's gonna be, you're saying a 12 and a half over, it's gonna be definitely under that if it's a close game.
No, so the line is 12 and a half, meaning they think that Kansas City will win by 12 and a half.
Oh.
Yeah,
So do you
I couldn't
Oh, I
see
thought you,
annihilation happening with the
yeah.
Steelers losing by less than 12 and a half points.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. So Oh, I'm pounding the over. I meant.
No,
I thought you
no,
meant the Steelers winning.
no, you're taking the points. You're taking the 12.5.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
way
okay.
over 12.5.
Yeah. So okay, so you think Steelers gonna win by more than 12.5. I think for the Steelers it's gonna be contingent on if they can get their run game going a little bit on offense. If I'm looking at the forecast right now, I believe they play Sunday night, Jacob.
1 second. I believe you're correct. Actually, yeah, you're correct. At 8:15
Yeah, so
Eastern.
in Arrowhead is going to be a high of 35. Well, at Arrowhead, Kansas City, it's going to be a high of 35 that day, a low of 11. So we're probably looking at like a 20-ish degree game. I think that ball won't fly as well, especially Big Ben doesn't have that arm anymore. So I think for Steelers, the key to getting an upset is to get after Patrick Mahomes with TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward and just try to turn the ball over. And the biggest thing for the Steelers is they cannot turn the ball over. Don't give the Chiefs extra possessions. Najee Harris doesn't turn the ball over and just try to pound them.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And he
yeah, I
hasn't
mean,
fumbled once on the season, so we're in a
no, he
good
hasn't.
hands there.
He actually doesn't turn the ball over. So,
Yeah.
I think definitely. I mean, that's the biggest lopsided matchup of the weekend. But now we're gonna move to what should be a better game. Is the Bills Patriots? So, Raj, what do you think about this game? Who you taking?
I've talked about the Bills and Patriots matchup in one of the past podcasts. I still have the Bills taking this matchup all the time. I still think the Patriots are developing, even though like the rebuild season's going well. I still think that the Bills are gonna come out swinging. I don't think they're gonna kill them, but they're gonna win by probably more than a touchdown.
That's an interesting take. I would say this: the last time that the Bills and the Patriots played, when it was severely, cold outside, uh, Mac Jones didn't even have to throw the ball that much, and the Patriots still won the game.
No, no, no. That was the
No,
And
first. That was the first time they played.
that was the first time, and that was like really windy conditions, so neither of them could
windy
really throw the
conditions.
ball.
Okay,
It was
well,
windy.
okay, well, I would say regardless, even the conditions probably aren't going to be the best to throw and catch the ball. So, given that, I would say that the Patriots can, they've proven in the past that they can run the ball effectively, keep Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs off the field, and their defense can play well enough to allow them to win the game. So, I think that the same thing could happen. But I think this is probably going to be one of the closer games of the first round, and I could very easily see the Bills also taking the game. So yeah, I'm riding with the Patriots. I've always learned to never bet against Bill Belichick, so I'm gonna stick with it this time around.
That's fair. Yeah. Looking at the high, I don't know what the wind is like. From what I'm checking the weather on, but it's gonna be a high of 11 degrees. Bart Scott was out on the internet today advising Josh Allen to take Viagra because apparently he has bad circulation in his toes, and that's why he throws the ball poorly in the cold. So we'll see how that goes. Me, on the other hand, I think I'm gonna take the Bills. I think they're just a better football team. I think they probably deserved to win the first matchup in those super windy conditions. And the second time they played them, it was just even worse. The Bills are, I think, the far superior team. I think Josh Allen is going to be able to make more things happen off script than Mac Jones. And like I said, I just think they're the better football team. I would love to see Bill Belichick almost get an upset so that he can get his credit because I do think he gets not enough credit for the Patriots dynasty. But and I don't really care to see like a Bills Chiefs rematch, but for my bracket. But yeah, I think the Bills are gonna win. I just think they're the better team. But it will be interesting, especially give Bill Belichick a week to scheme. Because clearly he was not scheming when they played that Dolphins game. Um,
Oh yeah,
so
that was a train wreck.
yeah, so I think he was probably looking a little bit ahead to the Bills game. But it is cool. Now we've got the line here is Bills are favored by 4 points. Do you think the Patriots cover or do you think the Bills go over that? I know, Raj, you just said they're going to win by a touchdown. The
Yeah, the
Bills
Bills are gonna go over that.
and Jacob, you think the Patriots are just going to outright win the game. So
Um,
you'd obviously take those points.
I would, yeah. Well, I honestly, I would, but I could say it being a field goal game either way. To be completely honest, I'm
Well,
not sure who's going to win this game.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but as
Well,
of right now,
but
yes, I would.
if it,
I'm taking. Yeah, I would take the
yeah,
Patriots. So,
you'll take the Patriots +4.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I'll take the Bills over. I think 4 is too low of a number for me to like swallow those points even with the Bills win. But I think the game will be close. I don't think there's ever going to be a point where it's like, oh wow, the Bills are really running away with this, just because Bill Belichick's defense doesn't allow for that. So the third game we got on this AFC side of things is the Bengals and Raiders game, and personally, guys, I think this is definitely the best game of the weekend. So, Jacob, what are our thoughts on this Bengals Raiders game?
I got the Bengals. I think that Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase. I think their defense is playing well enough with the guy they got from the Saints, Trey Hendrickson. I mean, aside from Jamar Chase, they also have they still have very good receivers. Their offensive line has performed significantly better than they did last year. And I will say, I don't think that the Raiders staff and their interim head coach has gotten enough credit for everything that's like, all the crazy things that have gone on in season for them to still make the playoffs. I think that him, the rest of the staff and the players need to be like applauded for that. But I mean, the Bengals just beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs, many believe could win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to be going with the Bengals. I don't know about you guys though.
Dude, I got Joe Shiesty, Joe Burr. I can't even roll my R's. Joe Burr, Jamar Chase. They're gonna light it up. I have the Bengals going this game. Like the things they did to the Chiefs, that was pretty scary to see. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow just like light them up. Considering like the Chiefs have a relatively good defense, like I think they're gonna go crazy against the Raiders. Honestly.
Yeah, that's the opposite take of what I have. I think I'm taking the Raiders this game. Um, I think the Raiders played a playoff game. I mean, they pretty much did. They played a playoff game last week. Um, the Raiders have a fantastic pass rush. They were really able to get after Justin Herbert last week, and I think those guys are primed to get after Joe Burrow. I think the Bengals might just be a year too soon. But so yeah, I think they're a year too soon, and and this is me saying I love Jamar Chase. I thought he deserved to go that high in the draft. I was high on him. Joe Burrow is super fun to watch. That team has a really bright future. I think Zach Taylor doesn't get enough credit, but I think they're just a little bit too young. And like I said, I think that Raiders team is just going to play gritty. They have a chip on their shoulder. Their quarterback, even though it's still his first playoff game, he's been around a lot more. He's seen a lot more coverages, so I think he'll be more ready. I think people are overvaluing the Bengals a little bit. And I don't mean that to crap on the Bengals. I think they've had a great season, but I think there might be a little bit of overvaluing there. I mean, they played that good game against the Chiefs, but like it wasn't like they won convincingly. It was a tight game. And I think the AFC North was a little bit disappointing this year compared to what we expected out of that division, with the Cleveland Browns not playing well, the Steelers not having a really good offense, and then Lamar Jackson getting hurt. So I think that 9-7 record they're sporting is a little bit inflated by the fact that AFC North was not what we expected at the beginning of the year. And I think the Raiders are going to show that because the Raiders play in arguably the toughest division in football at the moment. So yeah, I think the Raiders are going to win. The betting line for this game is Bengals are favored by 4.5 points. I would obviously take the Raiders because I think they're going to outright win the game. Raj, what do you think about that 4.5 line?
You have Raider. Wait, so who's favored?
The Bengals are favored by four and a
Bengals.
half points.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are gonna win by probably a touchdown or more this game. I still have that. I'm gonna defend that till the day I die. I see the Bengals as a dominant team, even though they're young. I don't know if any cornerback on the Raiders could probably cover Jamar Chase like that.
Jacob?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to be taking as hard of a take as Raj because it seems like, I mean, you said you were willing to die on that
Yeah.
take. Okay, I'm not willing to do that, but I will actually, probably for one of the first times on this podcast, agree with Raj that I think that the Bengals will take. I'll take the Bengals winning by 7 actually. So I'll definitely take the 5.5 point spread in favor of the Bengals.
So what do you guys think about Joe Burrow? He's getting his first NFL playoff action. Do you think he's going to live up to the moment at this game? I mean, I think that Raiders secondary, like they played well against the Chargers. Keenan Allen did not have a big game. So what do we think about Joe Burrow and how he's going to attack the Raiders defense?
I mean, Joe Burrow, he's played in playoff games. Jacob, was the college football playoffs the only playoff game like he's been in that 1 year, or were there others?
Well, no, because he was a 1 year wonder. He didn't get a
Okay,
start before that, or like
okay,
a legitimate start. So yeah.
yes, but I mean, so he was in the college football playoffs, and Jacob's gonna love this, but I mean, the college football playoffs it's a big thing to play in, and like I'm not gonna say it's like comparable to an NFL playoff game, but just the atmosphere and everything, he's been through it before, he's done it before. I feel like he knows the mentality he needs to go in and get a win.
Yeah, I mean, this man went into Bryant Denny Stadium, his first year as a starter at LSU. And although he did have a fantastic team around him, I mean, he beat Alabama. Like, he beat a Nick Saban coach team. So obviously, the competition is at a higher level in the NFL. But I mean, in terms of, I guess, purely the environment, you could make an argument the college is better because of the sheer number of fans that will be at the venue. Um, so I would definitely say that Joe Burrow can't. Like, I would be very surprised if he were to buckle under pressure, because it seems like from what I've seen Joe Burrow play, when the moment becomes pretty big, he doesn't fold under pressure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see him fold under pressure. I would like to see a good game there. I really do think the Raiders are being undervalued at the moment, and I'm not really sure why, but maybe I will be proven wrong on Saturday. So those are the first round of AFC games. What is your one game to watch?
Um,
Um,
I'm gonna go with the Bengals and Raiders on this one. I feel like that's gonna be an exciting game to see. Considering,
um,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
have the Raiders and Bengals played before?
I don't believe so.
Not
Okay,
this
yeah.
season.
So I mean,
Oh
it'll
wait,
be pretty good.
actually, yes, they
Have
have.
they?
They have. Wow.
Okay.
Oh wow. The Bengals won in LA, 32-13.
Well,
Wow.
they didn't win in LA. They played in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, Las Vegas. They won in LV, 32-13.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
gonna say this. I was gonna say the Chiefs and the Steelers played this season too, right?
They
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna be most excited to probably see a matchup that hasn't happened yet, but I mean that just takes the validity out of my argument. But I still want to see that game because I feel like it's gonna be good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Jacob?
I would say that the game I'm definitely going to be paying attention to is the Patriots Bills game. Um, I think that is probably going to be one of the closer games. They split the regular season series. I still remember Stephon Diggs standing in the watching the Chiefs celebrate after winning the AFC Championship. People say he came into this season or the following season with a chip on his shoulder, and I'm kind of ready to see that really come to life. So I'm saying the Bills Patriots is going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the Bengals Raiders is the best matchup on the side. I think it's the most exciting. But I think all of these matchups have something to offer. I think the Chiefs, Steelers, it's kind of like, oh man, can like Big Ben and the Steelers like make it interesting? Like I'm watching for that reason. I'm like, could the Steelers possibly just like make it closer? Could they even like eke out a win that would be like just absolutely wild? I think the Bills Patriots game is kind of like that. They've played twice this year. They're already division rivals. So I think that has a lot to offer. And I mean, it's kind of just a turning point about like which team runs that division. I think it's the AFC North. So like what team kind of owns that? I think going into next year will kind of be a big deal. And then I mean that Bengals Raiders game, it's like two teams trying to like prove themselves. The Bengals are that new and upcoming team who are like trying to say that they arrived, and the Raiders are kind of like we've had all this drama this year, and now we're just trying to say that we can overcome that. And Derek Carr is an underrated quarterback in terms of the NFL landscape, but I really think it's important that he could get like a playoff win, so the Raiders are confident sticking with him for the next couple years as they try to flesh out, especially their wide receiver position in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so taking a complete flip over, we're gonna start going through the NFC side of things, and we are gonna start with Raj and I's Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Raj, I'm gonna start with you. Thoughts on this game? Who are you taking?
Okay. My very biased opinion is the Eagles. My biased opinion, but I mean, My actual opinion, though, I mean, as much as it pains me to say, in my bracket, I have the Eagles winning because I'm biased in that. But I think playoff Brady, it's so hard to beat playoff Brady. Like, I mean, we did it in the Super Bowl. What 20? I already forgot what year. 2018.
2018, yeah.
Yeah, we did it in 2018, but like it's a completely different team. We have like the only people left on our team that were in that Super Bowl team was a couple of linemen. Everyone else is basically gone. So I mean, I like the new look the Eagles are showing this season. They proved everyone wrong, but I honestly don't see us like beating Brady in the playoffs with the Bucks team he has. Even with all their injuries, they still have that amazing defense, and Brady can light it up on offense with anybody.
Yeah, I love Jalen Hurts. I love Devontae Smith. I love Landon Dickerson, your center, but or
Mason
guard or
Kelsey.
whatever he
He's
plays.
he's he's a right guard right now.
Okay, he's a
Yeah.
guard right now. Okay, well, he played center at Bama. I guess I assumed he played the same
Nah,
position, but
Jason Kelsey plays center.
okay. But regardless, it's not going to matter. You don't bet against Brady. You just don't. I'm taking the Patriot. I mean, not the Patriots, the Buccaneers. I guess I applaud the Eagles for making it this far, but I think it's the end of the road. I don't see a situation in which the Eagles can stop the Patriots' offense. I believe that sorry, not the Patriots, the Buccaneers' offense, and I don't believe that their offense will be able to get enough going to keep up with them. So Buccaneers are gonna, I think, win that game and probably by more than a touchdown.
Now, Jacob, let me bring up this. When the Eagles were 2-4 playing the Bucks, when they were after the game they were 5-1. Guess what the score was?
What?
Give me your honest guess. What do you think? Was it more, by like more than 10 points? Like, what do you think?
Well, the fact that I just checked to see the score, I'm assuming it was 28-22.
Okay, nice. Yeah, it was. I remember watching this game. Like the Eagles had a chance to win this game with the touchdown, just folded under pressure at that time. But I mean,
Didn't you say that playoff Brady is a different, is different? Or he's a different breed, something
yeah,
along
that
those lines?
Brady is a. I'm not. I still. My opinion is not changed because of that game. The only thing that changes is like how I'm gonna view this game. Because when the Eagles were terrible early on, like they were like competing against Brady and the Bucks, and that's when they had everyone. So I'm not changing my opinions or anything, but I mean it's gonna be a closer game than you think.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I think what the Eagles pose in this playoff, and I'm an Eagles fan for the record, both Raj and I are. I do have the Bucks winning this game. The Bucks are the better team. Um, and they can definitely get to Jalen Hurts, and if they force him to make, I would say the weakest part of that Patriots team is their secondary, and that's the area of the field Jalen Hurts is the least effective at attacking. So I think the Bucks definitely have the advantage in that on that side of things. That being said, I think the Eagles are being underrated a little bit in terms of how they play. The Eagles are a running team. They really get in the trenches and try to push you around, and the Bucks have not looked great. The biggest issue the Eagles will be facing is the Eagles don't turn over teams much, despite the fact that Darius Slay is a top four cornerback right now in the NFL. They don't turn the ball over much, but maybe Brady's been a little bit careless with the ball. I don't think he will be in the playoffs, but if it carries over and we can nab one, that would be great. But I do think the Eagles have the tools necessary to cause an upset. Um, if the game is not going well, they can run down your throats. They'll keep Brady off the field, and I think Nick Sirianni's had a really underrated season, and they'll be ready to game plan. Um, their big thing will be stopping Rob Gronkowski on offense. I heard a couple of sports shows talking about that today. Ultimately, Darius Slay can do enough to take Mike Evans out of the game, but I don't know who the heck's going to cover Rob Gronkowski. I don't know if it's going to be Avonte Maddox, a Pitt kid, or not, but ultimately, I just don't think they have the tools to stop all those weapons. And their run defense has been a little bit soft this year compared to previous years. I don't know if the numbers back that up, but that's my eye test. So I think the Bucks do win this game, but I don't think you should count out the Eagles just because I think that if this game does get ugly, it really heavily favors the Eagles, and they've got a dog mentality, and the Eagles have liked the dog mentality in the past. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So that line for that game is the Bucks are favored by 8.5 points. I am going to say I keep taking dogs, but I'm gonna say the Eagles are gonna cover. I think it's gonna be more like a 5 to 4 to 5, 4, 5, 6 point game when it's all said and done. I think it'll be fairly high scoring. Right now they have the over under at 46. I think that will hit over. Um, but yeah, the Eagles just can't turn the ball over. No fumbles, no Jalen Hurts interceptions. If they do that, I think they really have a shot to make this game close. I don't think the Bucks are as good as everyone's saying they are.
I see the Eagles also covering the spread. My take is it's probably going to be like the story of every other Eagles game. We're going to be down by 4, game-winning drive, and Hurts is just going to throw an interception or Rager's going to drop the ball. That's how I see it playing out.
Well, I don't see it playing out that way. I believe that the Eagles will not cover the spread. I believe that I'm going to take the over, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a part of me that's like, yeah, the Bucks. And I'll talk about it a little later, but like, definitely part of me where like I'm like, oh yeah, the Bucks are like they're not going to lose. They're the more experienced team, but there's also that part of me that's just like the Eagles have a makeup that makes it challenging on other teams. So we'll move past this game. I think we've talked about it in a little bit, a lot of depth, and we're going to move on to I think on this side of the bracket, probably the most interesting game, the one I have my most eyes on, and that is the Cowboys and 49ers game. So Jacob, give it to me. What do you think about this game?
That game could really go either way. I think that the Cowboys have underperformed at times, but I also think that they have the talent to, maybe even make it to the NFC Championship game, potentially the Super Bowl. On the other hand, you have the 49ers, and I mean, I can't remember that they lost a lot of players from the team that made it to the Super Bowl, aside from like what maybe DeForest Buckner. But other than that, I think that they're also a very talented team, very scary team. I mean, they just beat the Rams, and the Rams definitely weren't. They were trying to win that game for sure. So I believe that I'm going to go with the 49ers, to be completely honest with you. I think that their pass rush can get after Dak Prescott. I think that their run game will be effective. I don't know if they'll necessarily win, many games past that because I don't believe their passing game is strong enough. But I'm going to take the Niners.
As much as it pains me to say my take on this, I have the Cowboys winning this game. I mean, I hate the Cowboys with a passion, but I see this as the 49ers are strong in almost like in most positions. Jimmy Garoppolo is he's the tipping point of whether the 49ers beat the Cowboys or if they lose, because if Jimmy G has a terrible game, I don't see them winning at all. I think the Cowboys are going to win this.
Yeah, I don't feel the same. I think the 49ers are going to win this game. I think last week showed a lot, and I think the Cowboys they just don't play well against good teams. I know early in the season they kind of took the Bucks opening day. They really gave the Bucks some challenges, but that's opening day. That's just random. I don't think the Cowboys are a great football team. I don't think they're well coached. I don't think they're a well disciplined team. They've got a ton of talent. I'm not going to deny that. Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, just to name a few. But I think they aren't as disciplined, and I think the 49ers are more composed. I think Kyle Shanahan does a great job with that team. Um, Jacob, you said they don't have a lot of Super Bowl pieces, um, but I mean their coach is still there. Kittle is there.
No. I
Jimmy.
said missing.
Oh,
I
sorry.
meant
Okay,
missing.
I was like, I think their whole team's intact, but
Yeah, I would say aside from like DeForest Buckner, I can't like think of many players that aren't on that team.
Gotcha. Okay, I was like, I think their team is littered with people from that Super Bowl run. Yeah, so I think they're an experienced football team. Um, I think they can really attack Trevon Diggs with Debo Samuel, especially if you make him follow him across the field, because Trevon is known to get kind of burned sometimes, and Debo Samuel will definitely burn you. I wonder how Jimmy Garoppolo's thumb is. Hopefully, that's not going to be too bad. Um, but it won't be a cold weather condition day. Offensive line, hopefully they can neutralize Micah Parsons. So I'll take the 49ers. I have no hate for the Cowboys. I thought they were an early season team that I thought could possibly go to the Super Bowl. I see them in big games, don't think they play that well, and I'm not impressed with them. So that line is 3 points, I'll obviously take the 3 points because the 49ers are not favored to win the game. 49ers are +3, so I'll take the 49ers with points. Roger, you're taking the Cowboys. You taking the Cowboys by more than 3?
I'm thinking it's gonna be less than 3.
Less than 3, all right.
I think it's gonna be a way closer game. It's gonna come down to a game-winning field goal or like a game-winning touchdown or something along those lines.
Yep, and
Interesting.
Jacob will
Yeah,
obviously take those points.
I'm taking the points.
Um,
I believe that the 49ers are kind of like that this year. Just
yeah, I mean,
kind of like that.
I like okay, it would be shocking for sure, but if the 49ers won the Super Bowl, would any of you guys be like out of this world shocked?
Not really.
I think they have the talent to do it. I just would be like, wow, I wouldn't have picked them. But like
Mhm.
they could I feel like their roster, they very well could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, I think the 49ers have a better chance to win the Super Bowl than the Eagles, the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Patriots, and the Steelers. So that's 5 teams right there that I think the 49ers have a better chance than to win the Super Bowl. And I'm not far off from saying the Cowboys either. Um, so I think the 49ers are real. I think that 6th seed is like a very generous spot to be in because I think they are more of a 4 seed, 3 seed kind of team. But they had some injuries this year, so it'll be an interesting game. I think that's the game to watch on this side. But an also a close game to watch, and it'll be interesting, is this Rams Cardinals game. So, our thoughts on the Rams Cardinals game. I'll start off just because you guys have been starting off a lot of times. I think the Rams easily win this game. The Cardinals are not the same team after their injuries. They lost to the Seahawks last week, and I know they weren't probably playing all their guys, but like, just the Seahawks suck. So, like, I think to lose that game is really bad. The Cardinals also have just bad losses on their resume. Even they lost that Colts game, and it was like, oh, don't worry, the Colts are really good, but like turns out the Colts really weren't that good. Um, so like I think in general the Cardinals are just like a team that's trending down, and the Rams are consistently good. Um, Sean McVay is going to be ready to coach those guys, so I think the Rams will win this game going away. I don't think it'll be close.
See, when I saw this thing while I was making my bracket, I was switching it back and forth because I just couldn't decide who's gonna win this game. I mean, I decided on the Cardinals winning this with the upset because my logic behind this is Matt Stafford. Yeah, he's a solid QB, but sometimes he's not playing consistently, as I would know, because whenever I start him in fantasy, he lets me down all the time. So I mean, the Cardinals are trending down, yes, but I feel like they're gonna do some. It's gonna be a close game, but I feel like they're gonna beat the Rams.
Wow. Okay. I disagree. I was just looked it up, and apparently DeAndre Hopkins will not be ready to play for this game, and then apparently JJ Watt's status is also up in the air. Um, so considering those two things, I mean the Cardinals obviously have some talent at the wide receiver position, with people like Christian Kirk, but and Rondale Moore, but I think that the Rams, maybe I would say maybe saying the term or the phrase "selling your soul" is a little bit of extreme, but they've clearly, invested a lot of draft capital into creating a Super Bowl caliber team and a Super Bowl caliber roster, and I believe that that will, I believe that they'll be ready to win this game. So I'm definitely going to take the Rams in this game. I would say probably by 10 points.
10 point, yeah. So that line for that game is going to be Rams are favored by 3.5, which again I think just like I know the Cardinals are a good football team on both ends, but J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins being injured really changed that team. And I think Cliff Kingsbury is a really good coach. Kyler Murray is a great quarterback, but the Rams are healthy on both sides. Like Jalen Ramsey, who like he's going to match up with the like what is it going to be Christian Kirk? Like he's
Yeah,
or maybe Zach Ertz probably because Zach Ertz is probably that best player on um that offense that's on the outside. Like Jalen Ramsey's going to take their best receiver out of the game completely, and their best receiver isn't even that good. So I think a mismatch on that end, and then just like the Aaron Donald just going to get after the quarterback. So I think Kyler Murray is kind of going to be running for his life a little bit. Um, and then on the offensive end, I just don't think the Cardinals are going to have the pass rush, and I think Matt Stafford is going to be comfortable. And if he doesn't throw a couple picks, then I just don't see a situation where the Rams are going to struggle. I'm just listening to someone today. They're talking about how many first rounders are on this Rams team, and it's absolutely true. Um, Again, they're going to have to guard Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr. Tyler Higbee, still a pretty good tight end. Cam Akers, Sony Michel, just good running back. So, and their offensive line's experience. They're old and they really struggled against the 49ers, but I think they'll be ready this week. So,
Yeah, I couldn't imagine what how the Rams would be playing right now if they had Robert Woods. And I haven't heard a whole lot about Von Miller's productivity while he's been there. But I'm going to assume once the playoffs start, it's going to be difficult to block Von Miller and Aaron Donald. And I mean, with Cam Akers back, I mean, Cam Akers was, I believe, the number 2 overall player coming out of high school, right behind Najee Harris, actually, if I recall correctly. So he's clearly got talent. Might have not been a first round pick, but he's clearly got the talent. I think that the Rams are going to win this game. So yeah.
I think it's going to be a close game. Cardinals are going to beat the Rams by maybe 1 or 2 points, something along those lines.
Yeah, and I mean, Raj, what you're saying, like, that would be devastating for a team like the Rams who, like, most literally went all in on this season. They have no first round picks for like a couple years. They poured everything into this season, so we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And
I don't
another
believe in super teams.
all right, that take does definitely will not age well.
I
And
probably won't.
but no, for sure. I think the Rams, if they lose, it's going to be a catastrophe, and we'll talk about that in another extra cycle at the end of the conclusion of the NFL season. But I mean, the Rams better not lose. That's all I'm going to say, because the Cardinals can easily run it back and feel confident. The Rams, on the other hand, you lose a first rounder, I don't know where you go from there. So that completes our conclusion of the first round matchups, and everything from here on out is purely hypothetical. We don't know what will happen. There will be a lot of reseeding, but I guess I will just start off talking about what I foresee as a matchup, and that would be we'll just talk about a bunch of matchups here. Assuming the Rams win and assuming the Bucks win, the Rams, assuming my situation, I would have the Packers playing the 49ers and the Bucks playing the Rams. And in my bracket, I would have the Green Bay Packers beating the 49ers and the Rams beating the Bucks. So that NFC matchup would be Packers-Rams. And then on the AFC side of things, the Titans would beat the Raiders and the Chiefs would beat the Bills. So the Titans and Chiefs would be playing in the AFC. And then I think Chiefs win that game, Packers win their game. Chiefs-Packers Super Bowl, and I'm going to take the Chiefs to win. So that is my prediction for the rest of the playoffs. Raj, your predictions for the rest of the playoffs?
So on the NFC side of things, I mean, for the Eagles-Bucks game, and I think the Bucks are probably going to win, but in my bracket, I have the Eagles beating the Bucks. I have the Cowboys moving on, playing the Cardinals, and then I have the Packers versus the Eagles. I think if that does happen, I have Aaron Rodgers smoking the Eagles and the Cardinals beating the Cowboys again. And then my NFC Championship game, Packers Cardinals, and then on the AFC side, I have the Chiefs beating the Steelers, and then the Chiefs would be playing the Bills in the second round, and then I got the Bengals playing the Titans. And then I got in my AFC Championship Bengals and Bills. And then in my Super Bowl, I have Packers and Bengals, and I think the Packers are going to win.
Wow, I would say that you said the Bengals are making the Super Bowl.
I'm riding heavy on the Bengals this season. I like supporting young teams, and honestly, I like making my hot takes.
Wow, that is a flaming hot take. I feel like that's almost like I can't tell the future. I haven't seen the playoffs, but I feel like that's almost an incorrect take. I would say that obviously the Steelers are going to lose the Chiefs, and since the Bills and Patriots are going to play, and I think the Patriots will win. It's going to be the Chiefs versus the Patriots. I think the Chiefs are going to win that one. Then I think it'll be a Titans Bengals matchup. And I do believe that the Bengals will win that. If Derrick Henry's not back, I just can't picture the Titans.
Derrick Henry will be back. That is
he
probably
will
good.
be back.
He should be. He already resumed practice, and now he's on this bye week. So I don't see. Again, I'm not in their camp, but I'm pretty confident that Derrick Henry will be ready for this Titans game.
Well, you know what? I still can't see him. I still can't see the Titans winning, and the reason why is I just can't see. Actually, you know what? No, I think if Derrick Henry is back and back 100%, just like he never left, I'm taking the Titans. But as of right now, I'm going into the assumption that Derrick Henry will not be ready to play, so I'm going to go with the Bengals. Then it'll be Bengals Chiefs, and I'm going to have to go take the Chiefs with that one. Then we're going to have the Buccaneers winning, and they'll be playing the 49ers or no. What's the next matchup?
Sorry, what were you saying?
The Buccaneers win and the 49ers win. It would be
Packers,
49ers versus
Packers,
Packers. Yeah.
Packers,
Honestly,
49ers, Bucks, Rams.
call me crazy, but I might have to low key ride with the 49ers. Like, I was looking at their schedule just now. I was really thinking about it. And you know what? I'm liking the 49ers right now. I really am. Then on top of that, I think that the Bucks will beat the Rams, and then I think that the 49ers storybook, you know, season will be come to conclusion after they lose to the Buccaneers, and then, um, you know, I think it's going to be a rematch of the Super Bowl, Chiefs versus Bucks, and like I said, you can never bet against Tom Brady, so I'm going to go with the Buccaneers.
All right, so those are our official predictions for the playoffs. Obviously, we are all knowing, so every prediction that we make here is correct. Um, well, we have a little bit of time left. I guess I'll point out some key matchups I heard. I think the most interesting matchup that could occur is I think that Titans Bengals matchup would be very interesting. Like, what are you guys' thoughts on that being a potential matchup we could see?
I think it'll be what will determine it is whether or not the Bengals will be able to get on the field. Obviously, if Derrick Henry's back to 100%, just like he never left, I think that the Titans are going to pound the rock with him, and I feel like trying to keep a dynamic offense like the Bengals off the field for as much time as possible is probably one of your best weapons. So I think that I guess the Derrick Henry versus the Bengals run defense is probably going to be the potential matchup that I would be most inclined to see to watch.
Yeah, if Derrick Henry is back for that game, it's going to be a fun game with or without him. But Derrick Henry just changes like a lot of factors going into that game, so it'd be a fun game to see with or without Henry. And I still have the Bengals winning that game, but I'd really like to see that matchup with Henry coming back and seeing what he can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, you did your bracket. You ended up doing your bracket wrong because the Patriots would play the Titans and the Bengals would play the Chiefs. So that would
Oh,
change up your bracket a little bit. But
that okay.
but yeah, I think if that matchup happened, it'd be super entertaining. I think watching the Titans kind of establish that their identity of running the ball, and the Bengals are just gonna the Bengals are a really well-rounded team, so they just have a good offense. I just think it would be a fun game. Both defenses are Bengals defense is underrated, and the Titans defense is really good. So I think it would be just a really fantastic playoff matchup. That would be an exciting matchup to happen. And I guess only other matchup I think could be interesting is that I think the Bucks Rams matchup is really interesting. I would have the Rams winning because I kind of just think that part of me is just kind of like I don't think it's going to be Brady's time. I think them losing Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown is really going to hurt. Again, Jalen Ramsey can take people out of games. I think he's the perfect size to match up with Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a throw it up and catch a receiver, and Jalen Ramsey's huge. So I really think he's going to be able to take Mike Evans out of that game. I think McVay will come up with a good game plan, and I think the Bucks are going to be a more tired football team because the Eagles I think are going to beat them up a little bit. The Eagles aren't scared to get in the trenches. I think they're going to push around the Bucks a little bit, and I think the Bucks are going to be coming into that game a little bit more tired. Where I think the Rams are going to kind of have a easier game against the Cardinals, and yeah, I think the Bucks have been mistake prone all year. I mean, so have the Rams, but I just feel like the Rams are going to get past that round. And also, again, that secondary for the Bucks is just I don't think it's that good of a unit. And Cooper Kupp is the best receiver in football right now, and Odell Beckham Jr. has been playing great for their team. So I think I think the Rams are just a more versatile team. Can win in multiple ways. I think they'll advance. What do you guys think about a potential Bucks Rams matchup?
Is Chris Godwin out for the rest of the season?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, it's torn
Oh,
ACL.
well, that changes a lot. Um,
Jacob, you are surprisingly not informed about the injuries in this playoffs.
yeah, I'm kind of, I'm kind of surprising myself right now. I'd assume I'd be, more knowledgeable about it, but I guess not. But with all that being said, if the Rams and the Bucks were, I think it's an interesting matchup because it's like two teams where you think, okay, each team has so much riding on this. It's almost as if they both are like, they're both in play like Super Bowl form, but um, you do give a compelling argument. But I still think that I can't bet against Brady, Justin. Like I
No,
just can't do it.
I do not blame you for not betting against Brady. I don't love to bet against Brady either. I look at what I'm seeing, and I think the Rams have the tools necessary to slow down that offense. I think the Rams offensively again have the weapons to take down their team. I think the Rams are just a bad matchup for the Bucks. I think the things that the Bucks do well, the Rams can counter. Um, but if Leonard Fournette is coming back, he will be healthy, I believe. So that would definitely give the Bucks a better chance to establish a run game. But again, it's all contingent on Matthew Stafford. So Raj, what do you think Matthew Stafford will do in his return to a potential Bucks Rams matchup? I know you. I don't think you don't have that matchup, but what do you think about it?
I think I'm not gonna bet against Brady in this. Brady's gonna win that. Matt Stafford, he's like, it's either he plays really well or he plays horrendous. And in that matchup, I feel like I mean, if he plays really well, I see the Rams winning the game. But if he plays horrendously, it's gonna be Brady.
Yeah, I mean he's just gotta. He can't turn it over. He can't do the pick six thing. So I hope it's not an issue. I would like to see the Rams move on. I think they're an entertaining football team. I think it would be cool to see Odell make it to the NFC Championship game. I think it would be fun. So that'd be cool. So I guess with the remaining time we are going to talk for, I want each of you to explain your Super Bowl matchup and explain why each team could win the Super Bowl. So for Raj, I would be explaining why you think the Packers or the Bengals could win the Super Bowl and who your winner will be and why.
So for me, the Packers. I mean, this is a quote unquote Rodgers' what his last dance. Like with the Packers, I mean, Rodgers has the weapons. He has the run game with who's their AJ Dillon? Is that their backup?
Yeah.
AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones.
I see AJ Dillon's probably the starter. He should be the starting running back at this point with how Aaron Jones has been performing. But that running back duo they're pretty good as a running back duo. Devontae Adams, amazing receiver. Rodgers is still playing out of his mind, and the Packers have everything they need to win. Their defense is okay. Wait, is Kevin King still their corner?
I believe
No,
so.
well, no, because they have Jair Alexander.
But
Okay.
he might still be on that roster, so to watch out.
Yeah, if Kevin King steps on the field, the Packers are going to lose. But besides that, I think this is going to be the season where Rodgers finally does not lose in the NFC Championship game. He goes to the Super Bowl again, and he's going to win. And then with the Bengals, I believe that their team right now, they're with the momentum they have, and like the Chiefs game, yes, it was close. It was close, but it was really high scoring. And the fact that like the Bengals were going toe to toe with the Chiefs, it just shows how like it also just shows a connection between Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and how like at the start of the season everyone was making memes like Jamar Butterfingers or like Joe Burrow trying to pass Jamar Chase without an O line, and he's just dead again. Like I see the Bengals as a team that are like people doubt they're gonna go in. They're young. I think they're mostly healthy, right?
Yeah, I don't think they
Yeah.
have any. They don't have any big injuries. T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon,
Yeah,
um, Jamar. Yeah, they're most of their core players are healthy. I don't know many of the names on the
yeah.
defensive end.
And their tight end is pretty good too. What's his name? Uzama? Whatever their
Yeah,
tight end is.
yeah,
Yeah, like they have a really good offense, and like their defense. I mean, I haven't been really keeping up with like the Bengals defense, but I feel like the Bengals defense is solid enough to like let the offense just go to work and go crazy. Like Joe Mix is playing pretty well this season. The receiver core is amazing. Their tight end is not horrendous. He's a solid tight end and safety blanket. Like the Bengals have the weapons. It's all contingent on if their defense can hold.
Yeah, for sure. I think Packers Bengals would be an exciting matchup. I could totally see a world in which the Bengals go on a run. I think their run will end. I don't think they will have any run. I think they're going to lose in the first round. But if you told me that the Bengals made a run to the AFC Championship game, I definitely wouldn't think you're crazy. Jacob, what do you think about the Bengals' chances?
Well, I think they're making it to the AFC Championship game, but
No, you're not. Well, because no, you did the bracket wrong. So the Bengals would be playing the Chiefs.
oh, then no, absolutely not. Because I think that at this point in the season, I think the Chiefs have finally, started to get things, situated out there. So I think that the Chiefs, um, I'm taking them. I feel like it's just like it would be a bad bet to, to say that they wouldn't win. I feel like Mahomes, he's very much so that guy. He's going to be that guy for the years to come. I think that Tyreek Hill's, playing pretty well. Kelsey, although he wasn't, he didn't perform for well as me in fantasy as I would have, but or I would have liked. He's still playing relatively well. So I'm taking the Chiefs, and I'm matching them up against the Bucks. And again, you cannot bet against Brady. Might not have been Mahomes' fault last year. It's just his entire team, seemingly didn't show up to the game. But I still am taking the Buccaneers. Being a Steelers fan, I've watched Steelers play the Patriots and Tom Brady a numerous amount of times, and I've felt I've been sad numerous amount of times because the Patriots are just like that, and Tom Brady more specifically is like that. So I'm going to be I think that the Chiefs will be good in the future, but as of right now, while Tom Brady's still on that football field, I can't bet against him, so I'm taking them to win it all.
That's that's fair. And as the last point, I will say that I think the Packers Chiefs are going to make the Super Bowl. I know that is not like a hot take and not flashy, but guess what? Most Super Bowls aren't flashy or aren't these hot take playoffs. I think the Packers have not played well well, they've won, but they haven't like their defense hasn't been looked great. But again, they had that bye week is huge. Before the new playoff format, bye week teams would consistently make the Super Bowl. Some of that's because of the best teams in the league, but also because they had the bye. Packers are going to be healthy. They're going to get Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander back. They're going to be rested. Um, and I think they will get to that game. If it was a Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, I kind of feel differently. But again, I think the Rams are going to advance. So take the Packers to make the Super Bowl. Chiefs, again, kind of same story where it's like they lose against the Bengals and you're like, oh, are they good? But the Chiefs are firecracker. Andy Reid will be ready. I think they're going to really be able to open up the playbook. I know Tyreek is kind of like low key battling an injury, but he's also been like an Iron Man for the last 3 years, so I'm not really too concerned about him. Worst case scenario, you go out and hopefully kill the Steelers and then sit it down for a little bit. But yeah, I think the Chiefs are the most explosive team. I think their defense has always kind of gotten it together for Super Bowl runs. So yeah, Chiefs Packers. I think that game could go either way. I'm going to take the Chiefs to win just because again, it's just the Chiefs, man. Like I know it's not fun talking about how much of a dynasty they are at this point, but like Travis Kelce, like they just like Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Damian Williams, Edwards Hilaire. It's just like their team has studs all over it. Their offensive line is also really good, and people do not talk about it a lot. Um, and again, that defense has people on it. So again, I think the Chiefs are just loaded. I could totally see the Packers winning that game. I think it's kind of a toss up. I bet that opening line would be like maybe a team would be favored by like 1.5 points. So I'll take the Chiefs to win. I like my bracket. I'm pretty happy with it. So I guess final thing before we wrap up. One player you're looking at the most this playoff run. Who has the most to prove, or who do you have your eyes on the most? Jacob, one player.
Even though I haven't talked about this team, Aaron Rodgers, I feel like this is, probably going to be his last run with the potentially his last run with the Packers. So I really want to see what he can do.
Not be redundant, I was going to go with Aaron Rodgers, but second on my list, I want to see what Stephon Diggs is going to do because he has a chip on his shoulder, and I know he wants revenge on the Chiefs for what happened in the AFC Championship game.
That's really funny, Raj, because I did not expect Stephon Diggs out of everyone because usually it's quarterbacks. But um, no, I'm gonna go two here just because they came to mind. Josh Allen, I think he has a lot on his plate right now. Again, he is a franchise guy, but it's like if you don't beat the Patriots, I kind of think it's like kind of like a ooh like not that we want to move off this guy because he's great, but also like you got to beat the Patriots in the first round, and then even like if they run into the Chiefs again, which could be a possibility. Wait, they would pretty much be guaranteed to run into the Chiefs. The Chiefs won because they were a 3 seed. Yeah, so it would be a Chiefs Bills rematch. Like if you lose to Patrick Mahomes again for the second year in a row, it's like well clearly you can't beat the guy. So Josh Allen has my eyes, and I think we talked about it a lot in this podcast. Matt Stafford, like the Rams brought him in for a specific purpose to win, to be that quarterback that was better than Jared Goff to win him a Super Bowl. And if he's throwing interceptions and throws the season away, you just traded a lot of future assets to Detroit just to get first round exited or like they need to make the NFC Championship game. Like that's the bottom of the bar. I don't care if you lose to the Bucks who go on to win the Super Bowl. So those are my two eyes on the playoffs. I think for sure it's going to be exciting. I think there's matchups all over the place. I enjoy watching football. I think it'll be an exciting playoff run and an exciting Super Bowl. Maybe we'll talk about it on one of the main podcast episodes between then because the Super Bowl is going to take place that second week of February, I believe. So it'll be some time, actually third week of February. So there will be some time. There'll be some time. Maybe we'll do like a Super Bowl kind of preview thing. But other than that, boys, we got any last takes, last words you want to get in before we wrap up this extra cycle episode?
I'm gonna prove Jacob wrong. My bracket's good.
Okay, I might have to remake my bracket, just to make it actually possible. The matchups be possible, but go Steelers. I hope Big Ben has a nice send off.
Yeah, and go Birds. I would love to see them just make it interesting against the Bucks.
I would. We'd all love to see that.
Yep. So thank you guys for watching this episode of Extra Cycle. We appreciate the support. Hopefully, if you're a football fan, you found our takes interesting, and if you're not a football fan, maybe it just got you a little bit excited to watch the playoffs this year. So thanks for watching, guys, and I guess we'll see you in the future.